The sun hovered low over the quiet gas station off Highway 41, casting a sleepy golden glow across the cracked pavement. Inside pump number 6, a black woman in her mid-30s stepped out of her midnight blue sedan. Her name was Dr. Naomi Carter, though no one looking at her simple navy dress and soft curls would imagine the weight of the titles she held. Naomi stretched her shoulders, exhausted from a long drive after delivering a keynote speech at a national conference. Her dress, elegant but simple, fluttered slightly in the breeze as she reached for the fuel pump. She hummed a small gospel tune under her breath, a habit she'd picked up from her grandmother. It soothed her nerves, especially after the tense week she'd had discussing systemic injustice in law enforcement. 2 pumps away sat a police cruiser. The officer inside watched Naomi with a stern gaze, tapping his fingers against the steering wheel. His name was Officer Brad Hanley, a man whose uniform held more anger than authority. He stepped out, slammed the door, and walked toward her with the stiff gait of someone looking for a problem. Naomi noticed the crunch of gravel under his boots and instinctively looked up, giving a polite nod. "Evening, officer." He didn't nod back. "What are you doing here?" She blinked. "Getting gas. Same as everyone else." His eyes narrowed. "I saw you walking around your car. Looked suspicious." She let out a breath. "I was stretching. It's been a long drive." Brad stepped closer, towering over her. "Show me your ID." Naomi hesitated. "Officer, I haven't done anything wrong." "ID," he repeated sharply, his hand hovering over his belt. She swallowed hard. "It's in my bag inside the car." "I'll get it." As she turned to open her car door, he grabbed her arm abruptly. "Slow down." The pull was so sudden that her dress strap yanked sideways. She gasped and instinctively tried to steady herself. "You're hurting me. Stop resisting," he snapped, tightening his grip. She wasn't resisting. She was terrified. Brad's fingers tangled around the thin fabric of her dress, and as he yanked her around to face him, the strap ripped. The tear split across her shoulder, exposing part of her chest. Naomi let out a shocked, horrified cry and clutched the torn fabric close to her body. "Oh my God, please don't touch me like that." She trembled, humiliation burning into her skin. A couple near the mini-mart froze, watching in disbelief. Brad didn't loosen his grip. "If you just follow directions." "This is unnecessary force." Naomi's voice quivered. "Let me cover myself." "You're making this more difficult than it needs to be," he muttered. Naomi's eyes welled with tears, not just from embarrassment, but from the crushing pain of being treated like a danger instead of a human being. Memories of her teenage years, of her father teaching her how to survive traffic stops, flashed painfully. "Officer," she whispered, "please." From across the parking lot, a man stepped out of a black SUV, confusion crossing his face as he took in the scene. His name was Marcus Hale, a federal attorney. He recognized Naomi instantly. "Naomi," he called out, rushing toward them. Brad shot him a glare. "Back up, sir. This is police business." Marcus ignored the warning. He pulled off his suit jacket and draped it over Naomi's shoulders, shielding her exposed skin. "She's my colleague," he said sharply. "And your behavior is far out of line." Brad scoffed. "She refused to identify herself." "She didn't refuse," Marcus countered. "You assaulted her before she even had a chance." Naomi trembled silently beneath the jacket, her fingers still clutching her torn dress. The store clerk had come outside, phone recording in hand. "Sir, I saw everything. You didn't have to do that to her." Brad's jaw clenched. "Put that phone away." "No," the clerk replied softly. "Not this time." Marcus stepped forward. "Do you know who she is?" "She's Drive. Naomi Carter, one of the nation's leading civil rights experts. She just spoke before the Justice Department 3 days ago." Brad froze. Naomi, still shaken, looked away, feeling both exposed and exhausted. She hated that her credentials had become her only shield. Brad's tone wobbled. "Civil rights," Marcus continued, voice harder now. "And she consults directly with federal oversight committees. You just assaulted a nationally recognized legal scholar on camera." The color drained from Brad's face. Naomi let out a shaky breath and finally spoke, her voice soft but steady. "Officer Hanley, you tore my dress. You humiliated me. All for what? Getting gas while black." Her words hit the air with the weight of truth. Around them, More customers had gathered, murmuring, filming, bearing witness. Brad's voice cracked. I didn't mean. Intent doesn't erase impact, Naomi whispered. He stepped back, looking suddenly very small beneath all the eyes watching him. Marcus guided Naomi gently toward his SUV. Let's get you somewhere safe. She nodded, her throat tight. I just wanted to go home. Inside the vehicle, Naomi finally let herself cry. Not loud tears, just soft, broken ones that slipped down her cheeks against her will. Marcus handed her a bottle of water and spoke gently. What he did was wrong. And we won't let it go. Naomi stared out the window at the gas station, each passing second replaying the officer's grip on her arm, the rip of her dress, the humiliation of being exposed. I'm tired, Marcus, she whispered. Tired of fighting battles I didn't start. But you're not fighting alone. She closed her eyes, letting the words settle. 2 hours later, Naomi stood in a secure government building, her torn dress replaced with borrowed clothes, her hair still damp from washing her face. She gave her statement calmly, though her hands shook. The video from the store clerk had already gone viral. Officials moved fast, faster than she expected. Within hours, Officer Hanley was suspended pending investigation. By morning, he found himself sitting across from a panel of internal affairs officers, every second of his behavior replayed on a screen. He watched himself tear Naomi's dress. Watched her gasp in fear. Watched Marcus cover her trembling shoulders. And for the first time in years, he felt shame instead of anger. Naomi, meanwhile, found herself flooded with messages, supporters, women sharing their own stories, people thanking her for standing firm even when she was hurting. But she didn't feel strong. Not yet. It wasn't until 3 days later, when she stood at the same gas station, wearing a new dress, the sun warm against her skin, that she finally exhaled the breath she'd been holding. She wasn't alone this time. Marcus stood beside her. The store clerk came out to greet her. A few strangers who had seen the viral video approached quietly, offering hugs and words of comfort. Naomi felt her chest lighten. Healing had begun. Slowly, painfully, but it had begun. Weeks later, Officer Hanley received his verdict: termination, mandatory civil rights training, and community accountability sessions. In addition, a formal apology was required. Naomi didn't want revenge. She wanted change. When Brad stood before her in a small conference room, his voice trembled. I'm sorry, he said. For hurting you. For humiliating you. For seeing danger instead of dignity. Naomi met his eyes. Do better. Not just for me. For everyone who will stand where I stood. He nodded, tears brimming. Her grace disarmed him more than any punishment ever could. Months passed, and Naomi continued her work, stronger, steadier, and more determined than ever. The incident became a case study nationwide, sparking training reforms and discussions about bias and accountability. But to Naomi, it was more than news. It was a scar that healed into purpose, a wound that turned into change. And every time she drove past that gas station off Highway 41, she whispered a quiet prayer of strength, for herself, for the people she fought for, and even for the ones who hurt her. Because her story wasn't just about a torn dress. It was about a woman who refused to be broken. And a world slowly learning to see her clearly.